episode with Boys on the Mic. I'm Big Dog Rex, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Kausa and Nowakas. Today, you're tuning in for episode 11, where we'll be talking about whether AI will be a game changer for robotics, Disney and a Fortnite collaboration, and lastly, we'll be talking about whether esports is a rival or a roommate. So I hope you guys are excited for that.
Yeah, man, some really good topics on the list today. I'm pretty interested in the robotics one. I think it'll be quite controversial, and I think a lot of people are going to be resistant to change.
Yep.
And bit of a surprise there with Disney and Fortnite. Well, I guess maybe not too much of a surprise actually, seeing as they have been working together for a while.
Yeah, there's been regular sort of collabs with them, but I think this is just sort of, just cementing their relationship by Disney buying into it. But we can talk about that.
Yeah, it ramps it up the whole, I think, collaboration thing. So now I'm your boss. I can do whatever I want.
You can't do this, do that. No, I don't like that.
And esports, the new platform for watching video games. It's going to be interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, even the Olympics not a long time ago brought it up, the esports. So we're seeing like they're considered as a sport, not just as a separate thing.
It could be the
Olympics.
I know what you're doing there.
All right. Let's run the intro.
Welcome to the Boys on the Mic, the one-stop audio and video experience where the worlds of gaming and technology collide. I'm Nowakas, and I'm thrilled to be here with the dynamic duo, Kausa and Rex. How's it going, guys?
Hey Nowakas! Hey listeners! Kausa here. We're pumped to bring you another episode filled with the latest and the greatest in gaming and tech. No matter what kind of gamer you are or how tech savvy you might be, we got something just for you.
That's right, Rexy here, and we're stoked to have you join us. Whether you're a long-time listener or just discovering the podcast, you're in for a treat. We dive deep into all things gaming and tech, bringing you the news, reviews, and experiences from around the digital world.
And don't forget, if you love the vibe, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It helps more gamers and tech enthusiasts like you find our show. Follow us on Tech Trio Tales to stay in the loop and become part of our growing community.
Got a topic you want us to cover? Or you just want to share your latest gaming victory? Reach out to us on our socials or in the comment section. We love hearing from our listeners.
All right, team, gear up because it's time to jump into another epic episode. Let's revive, respawn, power up, and go!
We're back.
We're back. Episode 11. We still here, man. We still here.
I thought that we were gonna run away.
Not today, Susan.
Thought about it, but didn't do it.
Man, I'm proud. All right, let's get into it, boys.
So robotics, huh?
Yeah.
We seem like this is very controversial topics among the whole society. Everyone is kind of concerned of where this is gonna take us. Most likely it won't go that far probably in the next years, but eventually we're looking at, if I'm not getting the numbers wrong, they're saying that 85 million jobs will be replaced by AI, and it means also putting robotics on the plate.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, and I think just by looking at the numbers, we're 4 billion population, 85 million, it's almost like just Australia have 30, so whole Australia will be full of AI.
Full robots.
It's like Australia and New Zealand, maybe. I don't know. And the whole of the Pacific, just the southern hemisphere in the Pacific.
So it's not a number that you can dismiss. Like it's a huge number, and I think the right question to ask is whether this will replace my job or what kind of job will replace. Is it the job that humans actually like to do, or is it the jobs that they don't like? I think one of the expressions that we find on the internet is the 3Ds. the dual, what was the other one? The dirty and dangerous. So basically, the three things that we don't like to do, and that's where robotics will play a massive role.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like robots are going to be another, I guess, class in society.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Because you know that in certain countries, like for example Australia, we use that as an example. Whenever there's a large influx of immigrants coming into the country, the middle and lower classes tend to move up, and the immigrants will start doing the 3Ds. They'll do the dull, the dirty, and the dangerous work. Now, when robots come in, they will replace that and push the immigrants up into like the middle class, and the robots will eventually start doing the dull, the dirty, and the dangerous jobs.
The 3Ds, eh? Well,
It
I
needs to
don't
be
think
dangerous.
I don't think people will be complaining about it when they actually
No.
don't have to do them anymore. But definitely, like personally, if I was to have a choice and I didn't have to do this, like if it was a dull or dirty, dangerous job, and a robot could easily do it for me, then I'd be happy with that, you know.
I was speaking to Rex as well about this morning because he works in a kitchen, and I was saying, imagine if you had a dishy that is always reliable, always turns up on time, never calls in sick, and does the same quality of work every time.
I can just imagine. So I work in a hotel where downstairs there's a big charging room. You just press the button, beep. All right, let's say his name could be Jake. All right, Jake, your turn, bro. So Jake can work 24 hours or
No.
maybe an 8 hour cycle of just washing dishes, and he's just sleeping downstairs or he's just charging downstairs. You know, like I'm not too sure about like where the humanoids would be or where they'd rest, but just having something like that and not having to worry about like the things that make us human, where we get sick, something happens, an accident, it just takes it out of um, what you have to worry about and sort of looking for coverage. And that you can just go downstairs and be like, oh, Jake's broken down, just get Michael. Say, for example, I'm just throwing out random names.
Like,
You're really putting the human into these robots by giving them names as well.
Well, you have to, bro. You have to, you know.
well, at some point, think about this. Like batteries are getting better. That means you'll have more reliable battery over the course of the day. If it's a humanoid, of course, because they might need to recharge it. And the more battery that you have, the more things that you can do over the day and without stopping. That means like
Exactly.
Michael or your Jake's examples. These guys, they can run probably 24/7. And then on the days off, they can just recharge.
Exactly. And you can't just possibly limit them to just washing dishes. Like say for example, you could just input a chefing, I don't know, I'm just thinking like a card or like a information or a download into them, and then boom, they can be a chef, bro.
Matrix. That's the
Matrix.
premise
Yeah.
of the Matrix.
They can do whatever, like run a business, run a shop, boom, whatever. Maybe
that opens
it'll be
up
the
also-
software that you input into the robot that's expensive, but it could be just a blank, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think once like if we're talking about humanoid robots, once the humanoid robot it's on a level to basically do the complexity of the human movements, then it will be up to the developers to put a code, like you said, and do a specific task. So that will
Yeah.
open up another door to have like a little store for like plugins to do specific things.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but I would definitely like have someone that can do the mundane things for me. Like let's
yeah.
say at home when you have a big house and you have to like cut all the bushes, like take care of the garden and all that. Like this is stuff that I think I would like to do at some point. But when you're working, like whole family is working, like it's actually pretty difficult to set up some time just to do that. Especially
Just
when
to
there's
get
a family involved.
Definitely.
One of the main issues as well that it solves is the shortage of labor at the moment. And like you were saying, Nick, the 3Ds, the dangerous, the dull, and
But
the
they're
dangerous. It'll solve that issue for a lot of countries. There's countries with this social issue at the moment coming out of COVID. New Zealand is one of those countries where they just don't have enough people to work, and there's a big trend of Kiwis coming over to Australia. One, because the salaries are better in Australia, and two, because they don't want to do that the 3Ds in New Zealand when they can do it in Australia for more. So
yeah.
where they're having a large influx of population moving away, robots could be the answer to help those countries continue.
Yeah, and I think the key here for anyone, it will be deciding when you are not super young, but when you're in your 20s, is deciding what exactly will your job look like in a few years' time, and can that be replaced? The answer is yes, you might be looking. If you actually like that job, you might need to do some training so you can control that in your favor for your job, because that will be the difference in between you and someone that doesn't have that experience. You mind, if you're a chef, how can I use the robot to do my job better, right? So that will be, I think, the game changer for getting the job done.
The AI learning could possibly be a thing.
Yeah, even like just a few days before, Microsoft just announced that they're gonna be training like around 2 million people in India that currently have AI skills, but they wanna scale it up because of the amount of investment that they're doing on AI. They require more workforce to be able to redeploy all these tools. So basically, that's what they're saying. Like, we need more people capable to run this thing because it's a new tool for us. So we need also people that can understand how it works and can also push the boundaries
and help others understand it as well, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's pretty exciting to hear that, because currently in the IT industry at the moment, a lot of large companies are going through massive cuts and laying off people. So this is good news, because Microsoft just is investing in, was it 2 million employees upskilling?
Yeah, 2 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's now 83 million. They're not going to get replaced.
That's just two, though.
But
I think probably people will, like you said, Nick, that like this is just the start. That's the trend where people are going to be upskilling and looking for different areas where they can find employment. When these robots come in and take the jobs, it's going to open up new opportunities for them to go and find other work.
it's just sometimes humanity, like in general, tends to be resistant to change. But part of us is also that we need to be capable of changing, because that's part of evolution in general. So if we don't go with the flow, we just fall behind. And that's the doomsday scenario of humanity, where robots takes over. And I think that's where the scenario when we fall behind and we just let it go. And I think the key here is like, okay, you are. I know that you probably don't care about robots. I don't know. You don't care about these things, but you need to understand them so you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, and the perception is now less humans versus robots and more robots plus humans together are going to be much more efficient and stronger.
Yeah.
Exactly. Coexisting.
Yeah. That's the key word, I guess. Coexisting is probably where it leans us. And like I said, like, you are using it like it's a tool. It's not technically gonna replace it. Of course, we'll have more. It will be more capable over the time, but that means you also need to understand. Oh, I actually can replace now tasks. I don't have to do this anymore, so I can just focus on keep expanding.
So this new AI that Sam Altman is developing and searching for funding for. It's called Figure AI. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah. If I'm not wrong, Figure AI, it's working with BMW
Yeah.
to replace some jobs at the automotive industry. And we already,
factories.
manufacturing. We already seen Tesla. It's one of the best examples, probably. BMW too, where there's a lot of uh, collaboration in between humans and robots, where humans dedicate to control, oversee, and fix if the machine is broken, and the machine will work 24/7, will run full operation, and will be more efficient.
It's interesting that you brought up Tesla because they also mentioned recently that they should start shipping their humanoid robots by 2025.
Mm.
And interesting enough, one of their like direct competitors, I think it's called Anthropics Robotics, something along those lines. They are they have just signed a deal with Amazon to start using humanoid robotics in their warehouses as well. So it definitely probably isn't advertised in the media too much, but humanoids are definitely being integrated into society in the background.
Yeah.
In the workforces of bigger companies, where it's sort of in a controlled environment, like you said, a warehouse or a manufacturing warehouse as well, where they might be creating cars or machines or stuff like that. I think those warehouses where they manufacture cars and robotics, they've been using robots for a while. But I think I was talking with Tor this morning. I was saying I think it's the more like critical jobs that they're trying to get the humanoids to do, or essentially replace what the humans are doing, where they can check or they can pick or pack or just like pushing buttons or stuff like that.
Single use robotics versus
Yeah.
multiple use.
Multitasking humanoid
Yeah.
robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of where that's, I guess, the concern about any worker that does that specific task, because that means they will get replaced easily. And also at some point, this is what we talk about also a few probably episodes back. It's like it's not just the company itself that needs to like help out the employee to upskill themselves. It's the government, and it's also on our position to also push the boundaries a little more. So I think we need to create laws where when a human job is replaced, all these workers will have an option to upskill themselves or find another job that could put them on this like onto the society again, and not have to worry about not having a job anymore.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up because there was some analogies pulled from some of the research that we were doing between the humanoid robotics era now that we're in and in the 1980s when everything was going digital with computing. And it just sort of highlights that this isn't the first time we've gone through something like this. It's happened in the past.
I mean, look, we're using, technology today to film our podcast, and all of this is done through computing.
Like back in the day, you would have had to have, let's say, if we wanted to do something in the 80s or even 70s, we would have had to have a full camera crew to be able to do this. Whereas now, we're pretty much using AI for a majority of the editing, and also we're using computers and our own personal phones to record this.
No, it's just, I think we have come a long way. It's just sometimes we don't sit down and watch all the stuff that has happened in the last 50 years. It's just also at some point it's just difficult to think about everything that has changed. But lately, I think the change is becoming like faster and faster. So that's what it's probably concerning more, because it's like, oh, today I've skilled myself to do this job, and then tomorrow they bringing out a new robot that can do that in 5 seconds. So I think either it's upskilling like constantly. It's like constant improvement. Like Japanese said, kaizen, constant improvement. But also at the same time, it should be a laws to protect humans, and at some point there should be laws to put humanoids in the workforce.
Definitely.
Bit of both. I like that.
So that everyone sort of has rights. And I definitely think that would become a thing where humanoids, if they become consciously aware of what they're doing, they definitely would want some rights as well.
One thing as well that I noticed is that a lot of the larger companies are investing in these humanoids. And I think that sort of underlying thing behind that is because they're just expensive. It's expensive at the moment. It's not available to every company. So we still got a long way to go before it's more affordable. And once that happens, I think it'll definitely become part of mainstream.
Where the average human can buy a robot.
Yeah, I believe that's the difference between Tesla and Figure AI, is that Tesla's sort of more aiming for like the home environment, kind of having your own butler AI robot, whereas these other companies are more towards manufacturing.
Industrializing.
Yeah. I think that Tesla is a bit desperate at the moment. Their figures are not looking that great, and all the competitors, China EVs, are ramping up because they have way more factories and all that. So at some point, they're trying to find now a new star project, like a new thing that will just kill it and be the one that supersedes whatever they've been doing with EVs. Because EVs, they were ahead of the market, but now the market is catching up, so they need to find another way to be on the spotlight.
It may even humanoids may even decentralize where we manufacture things as well. Because imagine if we started seeing, humanoid run factories start popping up in Australia again. Because part of the reason why we export so much to China is because there's more labor, the cost is cheaper as well. But if you factor in humanoids, maybe the cost at the beginning may be more, but in the long run, you're going to have a consistent workforce that can work for virtually nothing. You don't pay wages to a humanoid.
I guess you would just ideally use the wages that you would normally pay for a human to buy that robot, like you were saying before. It could be expensive. So say one person or one human a year could be like 75K. So then you would invest that 75K into that robot, depending on what kind of robot you'd be using. That's a good deal,
These also open up the door for companies to own robots and lease them to companies first for the job. Almost like the car rental hire
contracting.
Yeah.
Contracting humanoids.
Yeah.
No.
Bounty hunters? Oh, sorry. No.
I need my humanoid for a specific job. What type
That's
of
a
job?
cool name.
Don't
That's a
ask.
cool name. Bounty hunter.
Humanoid. Oh,
Save
bounty
it.
hunter.
Hire a humanoid near you for any job. The 3Ds.
Save it, Rexy. Otherwise, someone else is gonna take it.
They'll do the dirty work. They'll do the dangerous work, and they'll do the dull work.
No worries.
I like the 3Ds there as a slogan.
All right. Well, the next topic that we have lined up for today is Disney x Fortnite. So
Let's go.
last week, last week Disney just announced with Fortnite that they are going to be investing into the Fortnite universe, I guess you could say. They're investing $1.5 billion in exchange for a stake in Epic's Games company as well. So they're not only partnering with them, they're investing in them, and they're also getting a position where they can have some sort of control over the direction. And they're looking to create an expansive, persistent, open world environment where they can create stories with all the characters and
mate, I'm excited
timelines from there. It's going to include Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, just to name a few of the different IPs that they currently control. And this is coming off the success of some of the other partnerships that they've done with Fortnite through Epics in the past. It's
Yeah.
also important to note that Disney uses Epic's Unreal Engine as well to create a lot of their content too. So there is
Yep.
that history there, and then they've already been working together for a while. Epic Games actually went through Disney's tech startup program in 2017. So
Wow.
you could almost say that Disney had created Fortnite.
Yeah. It's
Well-
funny because like these companies that come out of nowhere, they at some point they have to find funding. And who has the most funding out of all? The biggest company, like Microsoft, Apple, Disney. And at some point they put a little salt on it and they say, okay, off you go. But then when they are big enough, they come back and say, you grow my child. Now it's time to join me.
Oh man. If anything, Fortnite has grown into a beast. Yeah.
Their style of being able to create
Adapt.
content from different IPs and bring that into their world.
Mm.
That's something that was always part of their mission at the beginning, was to create a game where you could bring different stories and characters into it. And if you draw parallels from this to the metaverse, you can see that Disney's like heavily invested in the future of VR and, different worlds where everything sort of comes together.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine playing a, I don't know, Disney themed Fortnite world, but in VR?
Mm.
Holy
And
take my
al-
money.
also think about that they've been investing also on the Apple Vision Pro, which not many
Yeah.
companies have done. So they actually, like you said, like they want to go ahead with this and they want to be ahead everyone else too.
It's
Just to throw out some numbers there as well. In terms of marketing, there's 3 billion players that are currently, using Fortnite and Disney's services. So that is such a large market to be able to push out. Let's say if you have a new TV series coming out, or a new game, you can put that into Fortnite tool to get to instantly hit 3 billion players.
yeah, and if it's a success, they can sell skins in Fortnite, which are cosmetics, and people go crazy for them, and maybe
Yeah.
even possibly sell other merchandise
Mm.
through the game, and that is something that I don't normally see a lot of, is like merchandise and cosmetics in one thing, and I think maybe that could be a thing coming.
Mm. Yeah. So the big question here, we know that they're partnering, but now that Disney has more power over them, now the big question is how are they gonna create more experiences? How they are gonna take advantage of this whole partnership? And what this reminds me of Disney Infinity, and this is, I don't know if you guys ever played this game, but it was a game where you buy the game, the physical game anymore because it was also online, but you buy the game, you put it on, and then you buy like a starter package. With the starter package will come with a little figures, like physical figures, and those are as tokens that opens the character on the game, so they unlocks that. So the more characters that you buy, the more characters you can use on in game, and that was one way to do it. And they did it for a couple generations up to I think 3.0, and that it started from Skylanders. Actually, this is a game that I play a lot with my brothers,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking that that could be a way they can do it. I'm not sure if they will use the physical fact anymore. I don't know if it works really well, but having Fortnite as a digital tool, like you said, Rexy, skins, it's a massive thing. So probably what it will lean is more like a Lego experience where they create a universe that's specifically for Disney.
Mm. And then dedicated to whatever universe or world that they're creating, and possibly, like you said, was it toys or tokens? Did you could
It
scan
was
them
like a
and
little,
then
yeah, it was like a little figure, and that figure you put it on a app, and that
yeah,
reads the RFID,
barcode?
which is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like a barcode, and that reads
Mm,
that, and that unlocks the character in game. It's almost like
yeah,
buying an add-on, like basically.
definitely, but a physical one. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
maybe possibly you could have it as, I don't know, a trophy or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
You just put it
that's
on your
cool.
shelf, and it's a display too.
Yeah,
So that was part of
that's
it.
cool. There was also another cool figure that Saul was telling me about, Epic Games, and when they initially did a Star Wars feature. I
Hmm.
can't remember
Yeah,
what the figures were, but you were saying that it was crazy.
I believe it was around, like at the peak, they had at least 23 million players on at one time.
Wow.
Was that
Yeah.
the Mandalorian or was that?
Yeah, it was. I believe it was one of the Star Wars Fortnite crossovers.
You remember when the Mandalorian Battle Pass came out, bro? That was a vibe,
Ooh.
man.
Man, I
Yeah.
bought it straight away.
And
This
I
this
think
is the
you
way.
weren't even playing before, like
No,
you left Foreigner for a while, and then you just came back just for that skin.
And
yeah,
I can't remember if was Mandalorian like out then, or was it like it
it
was
was.
just like
Yeah, it
season
was.
one? So everyone was on that Mandalorian vibe, man, on that Mandalorian train.
They hit it at the right time when it was
Yeah,
at its peak of its popularity, just before the writer strikes, and then boom, Fortnite just
yeah.
boosted it.
Everyone was. This is the way.
And
Ah,
talking about that, like Mandalorian has helped Disney to make a big comeback on the whole universe. So you think about like every single franchise that they have on, it helps up to at some point keep growing and also
And Disney's not silly. They're actually one of the most successful companies in the world, and they've also moved into licensing. And a lot of the games that they've licensed, like Spider-Man, that has won so many
X-Men.
awards.
Yeah.
X-Men, Spider-Man 2, that game was nominated for a lot of awards as well recently. You know,
Star Wars, the Jedi.
Star Wars 2, yeah,
Jedi
Survivor.
Survivor.
I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
Nick's just finished that.
Yeah.
Tune into his YouTube.
Yeah, yep. I did it. I didn't stream that one much. I think I just did like one thing because I was too
Okay.
excited. So I just played it myself.
But even that game itself, like the protagonist is a Jedi, and it's based off actually a real character, and they could just easily transition that into film if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a good point. And also, if you, I don't know if you spotted on the last Mandalorian season, the little robot B2B1 or something like that. That robot was on the
2P.
Mandalorian. Yeah, the one that has a ball
Yeah.
rolling. So that comes from the game. So they're trying to make that connection, which is the one. If you're a real fan, you actually feel this really like it
You felt
hits
that
you
robot
like.
rolling into your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just see it, and for like even my partner, like Amarina will watch this, and that's just
Yeah, she
a
wouldn't get it.
robot. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a robot. But for me, it's like I'm playing that on the game, and now it's on the movie. Like, come on.
You probably spent like, at least 16 hours with that little robot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, just chuck that statistic in there, mate.
I like that. Yeah,
16 to 20 hours, no worries.
if not more.
I mean, it's pretty genius because one of the other IPs that Disney has is Marvel, and Marvel is notorious for throwing in little, like, references to their comics, or like, their universes cross all the time between the different.
Bro, is there an end scene or is there like, at the end
Be
of the
hanging
credits?
around until the lights
Yeah.
come on at the cinema.
The fan base for Marvel, Star Wars, like all the franchises that they have, it's people that actually care probably more than a few of the personal stuff. They care more about these franchises. That's why they take it so personal. Like any single change that they make, it's like, mate, are you destroying my life or what?
Oh,
What
definitely.
did they bring in the new Spider-Man? The canon events.
Yeah, the canon events. But
Yeah. If something is upsetting you, it's a canon event. Or it's not a canon event.
I can't say that I've heard this before. What? I've never heard the
Yeah.
canon reference. Yeah.
Have you watched the last Into the Spider-Verse?
Nah.
One. Oh, that's
Yeah,
why you don't
that's
know.
where they mention it. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So it's a reference
Yeah.
from. Because I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what?
yeah. No, it is from there.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I need to watch it. Wait. Actually, every time I watch it, I never finish it because something comes up. But I watched like the first
Alright.
part where, is it the female Spider-Man comes to his
Yeah.
universe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it starts with when. I actually rewatched it the other day.
Oh, there you go. So you fresh. You fresh.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Cars in
Oof.
the
Yeah.
Fortnite because they already
Mhm.
have a collaboration with what was
Rocket
the
League?
car? Rocket League, and they have
Yeah.
a racing thing, a racing game mode where
It's
you
actually
can
really fun.
race, and there's also ranked. So
Yeah.
when they make a game and they add a competitive side to it, it just makes it so much fun.
Mm.
And adding cars where all the there's different cars, and I'm sure you guys can agree, like the different cars in the actual animation or the movie are so cool. Like they even have
Yeah.
like animated skylines and like just like all the cool cars, and they have eyes, and the way that they're like sort of cartoonized.
Mm.
I think it would be awesome to have a racing car game like that.
Lightning McQueen. Like that franchise is so cool. Like I watch all the movies and just like you say, it
Oh
has a particular style. Like it makes
yeah,
it unique.
yeah, just like like just the way they are, the way they look. It's so fun and cool at the same time. And I've also watched the cars countless times with my youngest son.
Yeah.
Bro. All right.
All right.
Should we dive into my topic for today, or is there anything else you guys want to share about the Disney and Fortnite segment?
No.
Please, let's go.
All
Yeah.
right. So my segment today is esports and whether it's a rival or a roommate. All right.
So what is this all about? Rival or roommate?
I just wanted to discuss or bring it up to talk about whether esports will be a rival or roommate to traditional sports in viewership and just being there and being a part of what the modern day viewership for sports and esports. Carry on.
So basically, it's more like saying, would this replace or would this just be there as an option
Yep.
for everyone, not just people that are gamers itself, also and like the whole society. So
Yeah.
that's more
So
the question, right?
yeah. So 20 years ago, if you were to ask someone to change the channel, if they say, for example, if they were watching rugby or soccer, and you were going to tell them to, hey man, can you change the channel to maybe watch like the League of Legends championships? Man, I'm sure that person would have turned around and said, bro, are you crazy? Hell no. But as it's progressively gotten more popular these days with the new generation and even some of the old generation of people, they're tending to get more inclined to watch these sort of things. Over the decade, the viewers have been able to generate billions and billions of dollars
Yeah.
from esports in virtual arenas and online in the internet.
We can see a lot of similarities in between the two of them, right? Like part of the similarities, I'll call it, it's the competition. It's people that it's training for getting better at that specific, could be sport, could be
Yeah,
game. So there's it's not like overnight you just wake up and say I'm an esport athlete. It's more like I've been playing this game for so long, and you get to a point that you also train your reflex, you train your fingers. Like
yeah.
it probably is
Cognitive
not
thinking.
intensively on the physical side, but it will be more stressing
the
on.
I think that's an interesting point as well because it might not be physically as demanding, but the commitment is still the same as
exactly.
an Olympian or something like that. We have professional athletes who are esports players now, and arguably there may be some expectation that they would actually have to be in shape to be an athlete, an esports athlete, because we know that the sharper your mind is, it normally correlates with good physical health as well.
So reaction time, hand and eye coordination, these are some sort of attributes that you need to train in order to become a esport athlete. And the good thing about it is that generally for traditional sports, you need facilities and expensive equipment to sort of get the upper hand. But for esports, you just need like a decent computer and good internet to actually become an athlete or a person competing in these electronic sports, where I think it opens up the doors to different people, and it doesn't limit you to where you are. Anyone can do it if they just train hard enough. Eventually, play a game that they can get good at. And there's so many different types of games out there. So
I remember Rex was saying that there's esports athletes in mobile gaming now as well.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest live games are actually mobile games. I saw the game the other day. I know that PUBG,
Free Fire?
that's a big game. PUBG.
Yeah.
There was one other one I know for sure.
Do they have an esports for Candy Crush? Because I know the market for that is massive.
Man, I think as long as it's a game and they can create a competitive side to it, there definitely is room for it to become
There is,
esports.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that's
I think
that's the cool thing about it, It's so diverse and the options are so huge.
But after having all this conversation, for me, esports is just a roommate. It's just another option. It won't kill traditional sports. Traditional sports are there to stay there. And I feel like
Exactly.
even you as an esport athlete, you should also get into the court and learn some techniques of as normal like any other sport, because that also shows you a strategy that you can put into place in any game, and vice versa. Like not funny enough, I watched Gran Turismo movie the other day, like a couple days ago, and that basically shows up like F1 players, F1 racers, they are actually using these video games just
Simulation.
to keep the reactions better and better, and that is like basically they are enhancing their reflex. They're just not, it's not just they're playing the game, they are using both to get better at their job.
Yeah. And it's a safer environment as well, right?
Yeah,
Like,
especially in F1.
You're going so fast. Like, I'm sure if F1 would go past you, it's just like a hurricane going. Shoo! And if you can practice at those speeds in a safe environment and crash without sort of having any sort of casualties, I think using a video game is an awesome way to train as well.
I guess the aim is not to crash, though.
Yeah, obviously not to crash, but I'll just
I guess the only thing you can't replicate in those virtual environments is the G-force.
Yeah. So that's another question that that I would have got from what you just said, Nick, is can esports ever truly rival or replace traditional sports? And I think we can all agree that they will coexist and develop together and be roommates in the same fields, I guess.
Yeah. And we've seen recently, like the Olympics, they've been opening up the doors for some esports where they consider there's a little bit of physical interaction. But I think at some point there will be kind of like what you said, the E-Olympics. So what do you said at the beginning?
E-Olympics.
Olympics.
Yeah, E-Olympics. So instead of an O, we could have an E. It doesn't have to be around the same time as the Olympics, but they could have the same sort of like every 4 years where the E-Olympics comes and maybe they have like different sports or esports, and they showcase all these esports athletes. And I would definitely, watch games that I enjoy, especially like I don't know if they had COD or what are some other cool esports games.
I know Fortnite is having a amateur league tournament, and the prize money for that is it's surprisingly big. Like it's a couple $1 million if you win, and it's amateur, so you can't be a professional to enter those tournaments.
Wow.
That's crazy. Eh? Should we start training or what? These little kids these days on Fortnite be just killing it, man.
Oh, you're giving up so quick. But
Yeah.
one thing for me for watching esports, the game changer will be the interaction. Now, let's put an example using a VR headset or the Apple Pro Vision or Meta.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's really
you
cool.
dive into the game with the gamers. So you're watching as an spectator, but you have like, let's say, the free vision where you can just move around the map and see how it's everything happening.
Yeah,
So
Definitely.
not just watching what they're watching, you have another point of view where I think it's more, for me, it will be more interesting than just watching one screen.
Yeah.
Just on that, do you reckon it would be possible for it to be done with live sports, like actual real sports? Could you, if they were able to replicate the same, let's say, football field in a metaverse, but plot like the players where they are in real time, could you actually be on the pitch with them and like watching it, spectating it in that 3D environment?
Yeah.
I see. Possibly.
Yeah, I don't think there will be some. It will be more like a streaming. It's more like they create a game into a game, like that vision, like that view that you will have as an spectator, will be just part of the game itself, but it will be just show to the people that are watching the stream. So I guess it won't be like too difficult. Probably that's my perspective. Probably it is difficult. But for me, that's the way I would like to watch the games. Like,
would that take away from physical ticket sales? Because if you could get down, like, courtside on an NBA game from your Apple Vision Pro, like, you don't actually need to go there to do that. I wonder how that will change that dynamic.
Well, that will change a lot, and also part of the esports, I guess, is also that everything is on the monitor. So I guess for them, the audience won't make much of a change, but the way the audience is watching them, it will be different. It's almost like when you see Ready Player One, like they are playing the game and they have on the side like all the reactions of the people that are watching them. So it will be all in it, not just people around you. Like they will be watching you constantly.
Yeah.
Every single move.
Yeah, maybe they will just monetize the digital attendance, and it will actually probably increase the exposure first of all, and also the viewership may go up if you can incorporate these meta worlds. So it's not like they're against each other; it's they're working together, and you can actually potentially get to a larger audience. Let's say that you really want to go see a game live in Argentina, but you're in Australia. If you can be there digitally, that
pay your ticket, online ticket, and I think this is also a trend because we've seen like some conference like E3 has been canceled, and that means where there was a lot of physical presence exposure at the beginning. Now that factor is not there anymore. So now like Sony, the State of Play, all of them are digital. So it can get everyone on the same time anywhere they are. Like doesn't matter where they are.
Imagine if they did an E3 in Fortnite. You know how they have those concerts for like Travis Scott in Fortnite? Imagine if you had a full E3 experience, but it was all in a game like Fortnite or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be there. Like the main reason I wasn't on the E3 is because you have to buy a ticket, you have to buy accommodation, and it's just for a conference where you'll be probably a couple days.
You can watch it for free. later on.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying that it's a bad experience. It will be an awesome experience. It's just like
No
you
doubt.
have to take some time off. You have to plan a lot of things, and sometimes you don't even get to see what it's around because you're just going for the conference.
Yeah, definitely. So
So
probably the esports will definitely coexist together, I would think,
Mm.
and bringing all
Oh,
those interesting, facts about VR and the capabilities makes me think like bringing us back to the start where if you don't have to pay for a ticket and what was it accommodation, what if
Mhm.
you could use VR mixed with a humanoid, so you could be there but you could also control where you go and what you look at. So just
Oh,
have
wait,
a think
that's
about
let's
yeah
put it all together.
and watching traditional sports and esports, so
Mm.
you can enjoy both, the best of both worlds. So I definitely think that these two worlds can coexist. And there's already signs of coverage where sports organizations are investing in esports teams and vice versa. So it's not like there's no hostility between the two. It's just
Mm.
like they're coming and they're just coexisting and even merging. Like
Yeah, they're their own entities. Like they operate parallel. There's similarities, but they don't necessarily compete against each other.
exactly.
I
And
think more will be breaking the status quo when they say someone comes to you and say, "I'm a E athlete," and if they say that to someone, they probably laugh.
In our society, yes, but if in South Korea, e-sport athletes are treated like celebrities.
Mm.
they
Yeah.
are.
It's kind of
It
it's
it all
different.
it all depends on where you are, I guess. And obviously, different people will appreciate your skills in different areas.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
as long as you're aware of who they are and what they do, then man, I'd be excited to meet the
it's just like
esports and sports players. Yeah.
it's just like podcasters, 10, 15 years ago, probably not as famous as they are now. Joe Rogan, for example.
Yeah. But definitely think that's a good thing to think about. Hopefully, we see some good things from esports and maybe see the Olympics, as
Mm.
I was saying.
Yeah.
Um, I've got some fun facts for you guys about esports. The first tournament was held in 1972. So esports has been here for quite a while, and that was for Space Invaders.
I'm sure not a lot of people know that.
And the viewership of the 2023 League of Legends World Championship, it had, I think, 5 million concurrent viewers.
Oh,
So can you imagine 5 million people watching? That's a
yeah.
lot of people, man.
There's even a bar in Brisbane, and I'm sure they have it in Melbourne as well, Nick. But there's esports bars where you can watch, League of Legends championships, things like that. It's definitely something that's it's been
Yeah.
around for a while now because these championships they've been around for years now.
Yeah.
I might have to have a look. I haven't even thought about that. That was a lot. Huh?
Oh
There
man,
you go.
there's so much to explore in the world of esports, and we encourage everyone to go check it out and maybe even try yourself. You never know. You
Yeah.
could be
Maybe
the next.
leave a comment to what's your favorite esports in the comments.
Only
Yeah.
if you watch one, it recommended to me because I haven't watched many.
Yeah.
I tend to find that it depends on what games you like. So
Yeah.
if you like competitive first-person shooter games, then I definitely recommend watching those sort of esports. They're not
'Cause you can
always
relate,
on, but
right?
when they have them on, yeah, exactly. And you'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, I know that character, or oh man, he should have shot this way, and you maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say some of the largest memes in gaming come from esports as well. Like in Overwatch, there was a team called C9, and
Mhm.
they were playing a competitive match, and they were winning, and they were almost like teasing the other team because they were losing. It was a competitive, objective based game, and the other team actually was capping a point while they were farming and killing them in the spawn, and they actually lost the game. because they
Yeah.
weren't watching the objective. And now, every time something like that happens, people will say
Yeah.
C9.
Not playing the objective, I guess.
Yeah,
Was there, and so they always
yeah.
say,
But people will be like, "Ooh, C9, C9."
kidding me, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Thanks for tuning in, fam. That comes to another end of episode 11. I'm Big Dog Rex. Let's go.
All right, and that concludes another episode. Today we discussed AI robotics and how they will affect our jobs in the future. Secondly, we discussed Disney's announcement to collaborate with Fortnite and their investments there. And lastly, we talked about esports and versus traditional sports, how they will interact with each other, whether they'll be competitors or roommates. So, yeah, if you like the content that we put out, it means a lot to us if you would like, subscribe, and just tell a friend about it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.